Hi guys, this is George Corso, CSCS. I'm here to talk about the Back Better Bar. What I love about it is the versatility that you can get with your traveling wherever you go. Whether it's in a plane, I can take it in a car with my clients, wherever. I have had a client who has not bought this yet, who has seen the wonders of it. Phil Ross also gives you great detailed explanation on certain exercises that you could do with this. I definitely recommend it for you. If you're a trainer, I recommend it for you and your clients.
The Master Phil in Your Corner podcast is brought to you by philross.com, the home site of Master Phil Industries, books, presentations, virtual training, supplements, and products, including the Back Better Bar, strengthen your back and bulletproof your shoulders, the Body Bell Method, the world's only kettlebell, bodyweight, and dynamic tension system, providing continuing education credits for trainers, coaches, doctors of physical therapy, and chiropractors. Be sure to check out our new app, Master Phil Kettlebells, on the App Store. Thank you for your patronage. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Master Phil in Your Corner. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Cherie Kalbaum, and she is the author of The Truth About Seed Oils. She's authored some 35 other books. She has her master's in science in nutrition, and she's going to talk to us today about the dangers of seed oils and how we got to this point. Cherie, welcome. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you for inviting me. I am very excited to talk with your audience about setting the record straight, right, on seed oils, also known as vegetable oils. There are no vegetables in these oils, but that was a good little marketing trick to get us to think, wow, these are natural and good for us. And they're anything but that.
Yeah, well, we all fell for it. We saw
We,
the commercials, heart healthy, vegetable oils, good for you. This stuff is causing such inflammation, so many problems. We have more issues now, allergies, these autoimmune diseases. They seem to be running rampant in our society. People are overweight, eating heart healthy, and yet they can't shed a pound. Their hearts are getting clogged. The arteries are getting clogged, heart failure. I mean, you name it. We have all kinds of health issues, and it's got to be from this food that we're eating.
oh, absolutely. In our new book, The Truth About Seed Oils, we have a chapter on the science linking seed oils to all these conditions like heart disease. Number one killer in America is heart disease, cancer, diabetes, metabolic issues,
Yes.
dementia, and Alzheimer's, because these are oxidized oils and the brain is most 60% fat. So what is happening to our brains? And then emotional issues linked directly to anxiety, depression, aggression, linked to skin issues like acne, eczema, psoriasis. It goes on and on and on because you just nailed it. They are inflammatory. They are inflammatory because of, first of all, how they're made. They're treated horribly. These seeds, these fats, mainly linoleic acid, are very fragile. They have double bonds. That's a chemistry little thing term, but they have double bonds.
Why,
And
why don't you explain the importance of a double bond? And
yes,
yeah, because I think people would like to know that because they hear this term, okay, double bond. All right, what does that mean? Why is it important? But I think it's really important for people to get to know that.
it is. So if you look it up online, the chemical structure of a polyunsaturated fatty acid you'll see that it's different than a saturated fat. So a saturated fat will have a carbon and hydrogen lined up with
Mhm.
every bond.
Right.
You'll see a straight line and carbon hydrogens filling in everything. With a polyunsaturated fatty acid, which is what these seed oils are,
Mhm.
we have at least two double bonds where there's no carbon or hydrogen attached. They're just linked up. And you'll see two bonds. It's like an equal sign in the middle. Well, what does that mean for you and your health? It means these oils are fragile. Those bonds can be broken easily, which they are, because they're treated horribly. High heat to make the oil, 500 degrees usually is the temperature. And then
Wait,
they have all sorts of
can
chemicals poured on
we
them.
roll that back for a second? Okay,
Yes.
so why do they need to apply this heat to these oils? I mean, look, when I have olive oil, right, or avocado oil, do they have to heat those up?
No.
Right.
So a lot of those are cold pressed or
Right.
maybe expeller pressed with low heat, but they don't have to have this high heat. So why do they have the high heat? More efficient, get more oil out of those seeds. Everything is about money in the end, where everybody in corporate America is looking at the bottom line.
Right.
And so let's extract every drop of oil we can out of these fragile little seeds. And that's where hexane, a very toxic chemical, comes in. It helps to extract the last little drop of oil out of those seeds. And then we have neutralizers, deodorizers, and bleaching agents all poured on this oil. If you saw a picture, it would look disgusting. I call it the slurry.
Mm.
It just looks gross. And these oils actually, initially, when they were making them way back in the turn of the century before last, came out dark and smelly and looking awful. And you know what they were used for? Machinery, lubrication.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's what we're eating. Oil made for machinery, lubrication from waste. These seeds were piling up and it was waste.
Canola.
Yes.
Canola oil.
Rapeseed.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And canola oil is made from rapeseed, which is a big GMO crop. Genetically modified organism is what that stands for. And that makes it scarier yet, more toxic yet, because you don't just have the processing with all the heat
Mhm.
and the toxic chemicals, but you have a genetically modified seed. And so they've linked GMO to cancer, they've linked these chemicals to cancer, and they've linked these oils, seed oils. There are about 10 of them to cancer, along with all the other diseases that I've named. And here's another reason they cause inflammation. And this is the argument on the other side, and you may hear this.
Okay.
Well, these oils are rich in linoleic acid, omega-6 fatty acids. We all need that. It's good for us. That part is true. But the amount that we're getting them in and the way they're processed is not good for us. Our meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for most people in America are saturated with seed oils. Anything in a package from a restaurant, most restaurants are using seed oils. Anything from a fast food place soaked in seed oils, most undoubtedly because they're cheap and they're tasteless and odorless, easy to store. So manufacturers, restaurants are using them. And so if we rip open a package, we have a bagel. Even our plant-based milks, oftentimes oat milk or almond milk or soy milk, is going to have a seed oil in it.
Let's talk about those. These, I'm not a big fan of the almond milk, the oat milk. I'm lactose intolerant. I don't even drink milk. Or as Arnold Schwarzenegger said, milk is for baby men. Drink beer in in the movie Pumping Iron. But so what? Are any of those milks good? And if not, why are they bad?
Well, look on the label. There are many options out there. And if we get nothing else drilled home today, it's be good label readers, right? I shop with a magnifying glass that has a little light, or you can take a picture on your phone and blow it up because now they're getting smart and the labels are smaller and smaller print. But most of those milks, from almond milk, soy milk, and so forth, have additives added, emulsifiers or thickening
Yes.
agents. And maybe they also have seed oil. Not all of them do,
Mhm.
but many of them do. If you're going to have a plant-based milk, and my husband likes to put some in his coffee,
Mhm.
make your own. Why not? It is so easy and so fast, either with a nut milk maker or there are a number of juicers out there. You just put the nuts and the water in it, it does the whole thing for you. And in a minute or two, you've got beautiful milk. There's one nut milk I really like, and that's walnut milk because it's very rich in omega 3s.
Walnuts, omega
Yeah,
3s, really.
we're so deficient in omega 3s as a society.
Mhm, mhm. Now, talking about omega 3s, what are some of your recommendations of that? I mean, I eat a lot of salmon, um, topwater fish. I also take Arctic krill oil. So,
Yes,
mhm.
so those are so good for you. And that's on the list of really good omega-3 fatty acids. And we need those. And I'm going to go with my list of these right into why we need them so badly.
Yes,
We're overwhelmed with the omega-6s, but also flaxseed oil.
flaxseed's good.
I take a tablespoon of flaxseed oil or two every night before bed. And I was looking at my skin this morning saying, wow, it's got like a sheen, like a glow.
Yeah.
What is it? It's that I switched over to flaxseed
Uh,
oil recently, and I'm sure it is that.
mhm.
But hemp seed oil, also rich in omega 3s, and black seed oil is another one that people like to take, and the walnuts and the walnut oil
Mhm.
that would only be cold use. You can't heat walnut oil. It's very, very fragile, but it's something that you can drizzle on a salad or put in a smoothie. But those are some of our best choices for omega-3 fatty acids. And why do you need to up that? Because the omega-6s are just surrounding us. They're in everything. And we're getting way too much omega-6 to omega-3. The ratio should be about 1 to 1 to 4 to 1 omega-6 to omega-3. And we are about 15 to 21 or 22 to 1 in America. Even people that are trying to eat healthy have been tested and said, I was off the charts. 21 to 1. It's like, oh my goodness. So why is that bad? It creates inflammation. We're back to inflammation once again. And it is inflammation that is fueling the fire on all these diseases. Is
Mhm.
heart disease getting better? No. It's still the number one killer. Is cancer getting better? No. It's still the number two killer. Obesity, way up there at the top of the list. Is it getting better? No. It's getting worse. 70% of our nation is either overweight or obese.
Yep.
We're on the wrong path.
Yeah, we absolutely are. And this problem is growing along with people's waistlines as well. So if you're talking about seed oils, you said that, yeah, we do need some omega-6.
Yeah.
How do people know, hey, what's a good seed oil for me to get? I know you mentioned flaxseed oil, but how do we get the good omega-6s into our system?
Yeah, so we want only cold pressed or expeller pressed oils. And so sesame seed oil is fine, get the cold pressed,
Mhm.
but also the good oils to cook with, olive oil. We just
Perfect.
talked about that earlier. And most of that is either cold pressed or expeller pressed. Extra virgin olive oil is what you want to get.
Glass bottle,
Avocado
right?
oil, pardon?
Glass bottle, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
always in a glass bottle, always dark.
Mhm.
And you'll see most of them are wherever you go, even the big box stores. Now, most of them are in dark glass bottles. That helps prevent us from getting a huge dose of microplastics in our
Yep.
system, which is a big problem today. Lots of people talking about that. Avocado oil is another good one.
Mhm.
Coconut oil is another really good oil to cook with.
Mhm.
Ghee, oil of butter. Some people call it oil of butter or clarified butter. That's a good one.
Mhm.
And so those are your list of good oils to cook with. And then you want to be aware of smoke point. And I have a chart on smoke point and the truth about seed oils. Avocado oil is very durable. It's got a high smoke point, and if you're turning up that heat, that's probably a good choice for you is to go with avocado oil.
Mhm.
And medium. kind of range of smoke point is olive oil and avocado oil, and the sesame oil is in that range to keep your heat a little lower. You don't want your oil to start smoking. How many times we put a little oil in a pan, you turn on your heat, you turn around to do something, and you come back and it's like, oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
smoking, it's like sizzling. Well, that's breaking down your oil and creating on the road to creating a toxic byproduct.
Wow.
And what happens when we heat these oils? We get carcinogenic, toxic, free radical byproducts like aldehydes and lipid peroxides. And it's these oxidized oils that are so bad for head to toe, arteries, everything. And what causes that plaque to form in the first place? It was that plaque that took us down this garden path. It's not
Mhm.
a garden path at all, a
Garbage can.
path of life. Yeah. It was arteries irritated.
Yes.
That's what caused the plaque to form. And why did they get irritated? There are cardiologists now have written about this. Seed oils, sugar, and smoking all came on the scene about the same time, at late 40s, early 50s, and especially when coconut oil couldn't make it through the waters because of World War II. The
Mhm.
seed oil industry was very small before that.
Wow.
Um, as far as the refined oils that people were
Yeah.
cooking with, coconut oil was the oil of choice, and it was marketed as the healthiest oil on earth,
Mhm.
which is true. There's a lot of truth in that.
Mhm.
But then the war came and the oils couldn't make it here. And so the seed oil companies really upped their production. The war ended. They weren't going to let go of that market share. That was good revenue. So slick ads, the new modern oil, odorless, tasteless, can sit on your shelf. You don't have to refrigerate it. What else showed up at the same time? Around the early 50s, heart attack. You see the little bar graph before the war, and it's like heart attack, it's like here. You
Mhm.
see it after in the early 50s. Now it's expanding, expanding. And what caused that? Irritated arteries. And one cardiologist said it in his autopsy work, it looked like somebody scrubbed those arteries with a wire brush,
Oh.
all irritated, red, not doing well. What forms over a wound? A scab or plaque
Mhm.
covers it up. And there we were. We started down that path. And then they analyzed, because of all these heart attacks, they analyzed the plaque. Oh, we found this plaque, and they analyzed it, and there was fat and cholesterol in there. There is. In scabs, there's fat and cholesterol. In plaque, there's fat and cholesterol. And they said it's got to be the fat and the cholesterol. Mm.
Huh.
Well, we've eaten fat and cholesterol for centuries.
Yeah.
So there were a few sane voices that said, wait a minute, we've eaten this for centuries. People have eaten dairy, cheese, butter, eggs, red meat,
Right.
cooked with tallow, cooked with lard. We didn't have this big problem. Why did it all of a sudden create a problem? And a few people said, we think it's the seed oils, but their voices were drowned out.
Right.
There wasn't big money behind to support them, and they got demeaned by their colleagues and kind of threatened professionally. Well, your papers won't get published if you keep on this vein of thought,
Wow.
or you won't get grants for your research. You won't be invited to prestigious conferences to speak. You'll just be shunned. You'll be ostracized. I've read numerous reports of scientists, physicists, doctors who have said they got pushed to the side by this demeaning because they weren't on the right side of where all the money was. So that is what led us to where we are today.
Yeah. I mean, something you brought up before is about it's about the mental health aspects. And from what I've read, that the gut is like your second brain.
Hmm.
And if your gut is not healthy, that can have an extreme adverse effect on what's happening in your head. Have you found any truth to that or?
Yes, they call it the gut brain connection for sure. And some people say the little brain is in the gut. There's a strong, there's a strong connection between the two and your gut health. Oh, well, it's important to everything. If we don't digest our food properly, if our gut is permeable, if we have irritable bowel syndrome or leaky gut syndrome, we're
Mhm.
going to have all sorts of issues. We can end up, just like you said, with brain issues and immune system problems. Good portion of our immune system is in the gut.
Yep.
So, gut health is extremely important. And we're back to seed oils. They aren't good for the gut health.
And I've heard now that there are some fast food restaurants shifting over to beef tallow. Um, uh, you know, is this because of the pressure it's being put on them? And do you know which ones have shifted or?
Yes, a couple of them. Steak and Shake has really been in the news. They shifted last January, I believe it was, to
Oh,
beef
wow.
tallow to cook their fries. And now they've shifted to grass-fed red meat. So that's another very positive, and that was just recent this year. I
Good.
believe Popeyes is using um, good oils, not the seed
Wow.
oils. I'm trying to go from memory, maybe Outback. So, if you Google this, which restaurants have
Mhm.
gone to seed oil, not seed oils, but good oils, you'll find a list. You'll find a good list. And then you can get an app, and there's a free trial for Seed Oil Scout app.
Oh, wow.
And I even just go to my website if you want. It's easy to find. Just click on my book logo, and it'll take you right to the page, and you'll
Excellent.
see a little link for a free trial for Seed Oil Scout app, and it'll show you the restaurants in your area. So I loved it. When I pulled up mine, I got the little map and the little
Yeah.
bubbles,
Cool.
and I found all these restaurants all around my house, and one was our absolute favorite, 3 minutes from our house. So
Oh.
that's pretty cool. And it has a scanner. So you can scan any product, pick
Mhm.
up a box, a sack, or whatever at your store and scan it and find out what's in there and if there's a seed oil or other things you
Mhm.
don't want to eat.
Wow. Are you familiar with the Yuka app at all? Right.
I've heard of it. Do they have the same thing?
Well, I don't. They what they do is I've actually been using it for almost 2 years now, and now I kind of have everything memorized. So when I go, I know what I'm looking for. But you can scan the barcode, and it will tell you, what is in this, and it'll give it a rating. And if it's a poor rating, it'll give you options, healthy options.
I
And
love
it's
it.
free. I have
That's
all my students do it. Yeah,
yeah, that's so helpful. So
yeah.
that's great. We've got some options. I think there's a new one that just came out called Olive. So, there are lots of options out there now.
Yeah, a lot of people they hear the words saturated and unsaturated fats, and they kind of get confused, like which one's good? How can I tell the difference? What do you have to say to these people?
Well, saturated got such a bad rap. Um, at the time when I was talking about when they were doing the research, trying to figure out why people were having heart attacks, and they found fat and cholesterol in the arteries,
Yep.
decided to blame it all on fat. And well, fat is saturated. And so, no saturated fat, the lipid hypothesis was born. And it isn't the saturated fat that is the villain. It's all this other stuff that is so bad for us. All not only seed oils, but sugar and all these chemicals, preservatives, junk food, refined foods, they're all so bad for us. It isn't the saturated fats. People ate saturated fats for centuries and didn't have a problem. It's we've deviated from whole foods. We've left the path of whole, live, pure, clean foods. Those are terms that people are throwing around a lot right now, but that is what's gotten us in so much trouble. And our path back to health is returning to more of an ancestral type of diet, real whole food without all the chemicals and processing. And that includes getting rid of the seed oils.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, I've come from a Mediterranean background. My grandparents came over from the old country, and my grandfather always had his garden. They always used olive oil and vinegar and oregano and garlic and things like that. And I mean, I make my own uh, salad dressing every day. Just real simple. Either generally it's olive oil, but sometimes avocado,
Mhm.
little red wine vinegar, put my spices on myself, and there you go.
delicious.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Yeah.
So easy and so much better for us.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to find good salad dressings. There are just a few out there that are made with olive oil and either red wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar, but not too many. I think Bragg's, well, I know Bragg's has one.
Bags
And,
is good stuff.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
theirs is good. And I think Paul Newman's Own has one
Okay. Yeah.
that
Okay.
is olive oil and vinegar. But
Nice.
there aren't many choices.
Yeah.
And so,
Let's
make your
make it
own.
myself.
Just
Yeah.
make your
Just
own.
I find it a lot easier. Um, so now when we're looking at these uh products, these seed oil products, are there some that are worse than others? And how can we tell if they're cold pressed or made under the heated conditions? How can we tell that by picking something up?
It'll say if it's cold pressed, they're proud of it, right? And it costs them more. So they'll tell you if
Mhm.
it's cold pressed, or they'll tell you if it's expeller pressed. If it doesn't say anything, don't buy it for
Okay.
sure. The two worst villains I put at the top of the list are canola and soy oil because those are the two biggest crops of GMO rapeseed, which is canola oil,
Mhm.
and soybean oil, and soybean products. Those are the two biggest crops in North America for GMO, and avoid them completely. You do not want those oils. Sadly, a lot of fast food restaurants use those two oils to cook like their French fries or their fried foods, from fried chicken and fish, the fish and chips,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
sorts of fried things. Those are the two top choices, probably because they are the cheapest and easy to access. These large chain restaurants want things that are easy to access, and
Mhm.
they have to order a couple years in advance, big drums of this stuff. So they want things that are cheap and easy to access. But boy, they're not cheap for us, and we pay a price. And this is another thing people ask me all the time. you know, I'm pinching my pennies, or I'm watching what I spend shopping, and why would I want to spend a little bit more to get a better oil or a better this or a better that? And I always say it's worth it. It's so worth it to spend a few more pennies here because you pay big time at the back end. When you get sick, when your body breaks down, you're paying those copays. Maybe you're missing days of work that you don't get paid for. You're buying over-the-counter drugs. You're buying prescription drugs, and we're paying a whole lot more. Plus, you don't feel well.
Right.
Yeah, who wants to be sick?
No, I'll say pay me now or pay me later.
Hmm.
I view fitness as the same thing. You know, work out, do something, move your body. If you're going to invest that time, and like if you're going to invest the proper amount of money in getting good products into your system, you're going to avoid a lot of things down the line. So it's either pay me now or pay me later. So how do you want to live? Do you want to live better longer, or do you want to, suffer?
Yes, I say that too, always to audiences where I speak and in my books. People say, why to me, I don't care that I live to, old, really old, but you do care how you
Oh,
live
yeah,
today.
yeah.
How do you wake up in the morning? Do you feel well? Do you
Hmm.
have energy?
Hmm.
Do you have a clear brain, or are you fogged in?
Yeah.
Lots of people say that. Do you have pain? Lots of people tell me they get on the really great diet program and the pain goes away. And your sleep. Do you sleep well at night? Those things are extremely important. Do you have headaches?
Mhm.
Oftentimes people tell me they have headaches that just are plaguing them, migraine headaches. I had one young woman that got off seed oils as much as she possibly could, and her headaches went away and never came back.
I mean, are you living or existing? Is that what you want to do? Do you want to live or do you want to exist? And the thing is that you want to be able to do what you want to be able to do, and you want to move pain-free as much as possible. You want to have energy. You want to enjoy life. You don't want to just be miserable every day and every ache and pain, allergies, your head, your stomach, all these things are bothering you because of what you're putting in your system and what you're failing to put into your system. Now, is there any because there are so many uh, these processed omega-6s in our diets, other than us watching them and purposely not putting them in, are there any other countermeasures other than jacking up the omega-3s, or is that the basically the only countermeasure?
That's the best countermeasure I know, and wise shopping, and just doing your best to avoid. They call them the hateful eight plus two, or so forth, but avoiding those toxic oils as much as you can.
Yeah. Now, but what about, I know this may not have anything to do with your book, but what about, or maybe you address it, I'm sure you address it in one of your books, but how about alcohol consumption?
I do address that. Well, alcohol turns to sugar. And we've got a big sugar problem in North America. People are eating way too much sugar. So I always point out, not only read labels, do they put sugar in that product that you may never have dreamed there's sugar in there? But are you consuming sugar in areas that you know you're consuming, areas you don't know, and then doing things that turn to sugar quickly, like alcohol or refined grains,
Mhm.
white flour products. We don't think about that bagel that you're eating in the morning, or maybe that latte that you're getting with a little added flavor to it. On and on it goes. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Most of us are getting way too much sugar, and alcohol turning to sugar. I'm just not a fan of it at all.
Yeah. And the other thing is that it is a toxin, and our body having to process all these other toxins that we have. Now you're just putting another stress on your liver and on the rest of your filtration systems.
Absolutely. More people are getting fatty liver today than ever, and they're not uh, anything more than maybe social drinker. Just, they have a little glass of wine here or there, but they're getting fatty liver. And why is that? It's all the sugar.
Yep.
Everything
Sure.
that we're packed with sugar.
Mhm. And then when you do drink, what do you crave? You crave more carbs, which
Yes, I
is
love carbs,
I know carbs.
sweet.
Yep. You get that craving for it, and then you want the more sugar, and it's a spiraling downward process. And people say, "Oh, I want to enjoy myself." Well, but how are you enjoying yourself? There are other ways. Yeah.
There are, and you can have fun. I know, Phil, you would say that. I say that all the time. I have a great time, and I don't drink anything. And I go out with friends and I have a great time. So it starts here with
Mhm.
what we tell ourselves and what's fun and what brings enjoyment into our life.
Yeah.
And never miss a moment to enjoy your life and to have joy in the simple little things. But
Yeah.
you don't have to drink to have fun.
No, you don't. I mean, if you could add 99 times out of 100, I'll have a seltzer with a lime in it. You're good
Yeah.
to go. Yeah. It's funny, a few, gosh, about a month or so ago, I'd done a seminar, worked all day, and my wife's like, "Oh, just give yourself a drink." We went out to dinner. I had one drink, one. Didn't do anything to me. I drank two seltzers, two glasses of water. My sleep was horrific. I had terrible sleep that night. I'm
Mm.
like, I'm just not doing it anymore at all. There's no point to it. My body
Yeah.
doesn't like it anymore.
I hear you. And the cleaner your body gets, the more it talks to you. And it'll tell you, don't like this, not good, don't
Hmm.
do this anymore. And that happens to me, even though I don't drink any alcohol.
Yeah.
Maybe I go out and eat a little something that I normally don't eat, and I don't sleep as well that night. And I don't wake up feeling as refreshed in the morning.
Oh,
And you say to yourself eventually, just like you did, it's not worth it.
not worth I don't want to. Well, why? Why? I don't act any different, and I certainly want to feel my best, and I want to get good sleep. I want to be refreshed because I have stuff to do. Like you,
Yeah,
you have stuff to do. Yeah,
the stuff.
yeah. So how can we get this word out more and more? I know. Look, I do think that there is a shift going on right now. I really believe it. From 10 years ago to now, like I even see sodas now, they're coming out with these seltzer options, which don't have all the garbage in them. One thing that does bother me a little bit is that they're saying, people are saying, oh gosh, the company, whether it's Mars or whoever it is, they're saying they're not putting this in there anymore. They're not putting this in there anymore. They're switching this. Oh, really? They didn't know it was bad before when I'm supposed to, congratulate them because they're doing the right thing finally. They've been poisoning us for decades. Now all of a sudden I'm supposed to be happy with them. No, I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy at all. And I think they should be held accountable. They've been poisoning us for decades.
Yes. And
Why are people just say, oh, it's okay now? It's not okay.
it's not okay. But you know why they're making the changes? It's us.
Yep.
We're demanding better. And you're right, Phil. People are waking up all across America. And I'm very proud of our young people, Gen Zs. They seem to be waking up quite a bit and in large numbers because there's big dialogue going on like TikTok and Instagram about seed oils and about chemicals and glyphosate, that nasty pesticide that's very carcinogenic. Lots of conversations about dyes and preservatives and additives. We're on a better track, and manufacturers are only making the changes that you mentioned because they have to, because people are demanding it. And, I say vote with your wallet. As we speak with our dollars, they will step up and make changes, even at fast food restaurants
Mhm.
or even your local restaurant. You
Yeah.
can eat, and here's something we can all do. If they serve you whipped up butter, whipped with seed oil, any fluffy butter is going to be whipped up with seed oil. Ask them if they have real butter that they can bring to your table. That's going to start a conversation going at a restaurant. But we can all do that anytime we see that whipped fluffy butter that has
Yeah,
seed
man.
oil whipped with it.
Yeah.
But we can start asking at a restaurant, do you have a salad dressing made with just olive oil, not another oil? And as this conversation keeps going and we talk to our friends and family and neighbors
Mhm.
and get awareness going, we're going to see more and more changes. And I was so encouraged the other day. I went to a health food store, well, the one I go to, my farmer's market one,
Mhm.
and I don't buy chips very often, and I didn't buy them, but I saw all sorts of bags of chips. These made with beef tallow, these made with avocado oil, these made with olive oil. And I thought, yes, we're
Yes.
making progress. And
Yeah.
I was at the big box store the other day and I saw avocado oil mayonnaise. I thought, all right, we're making some progress. Keep at it. Everybody keep at it. Keep voting with your dollar and keep asking for better products.
Absolutely. The things that, people want to be empowered. You can get empowered by doing this. Make these demands. Look, it's all supply and demand. Supply and demand. If you stop buying this stuff, they're going to stop making it. They're going to make something that they can make money at. And if we hold them to a standard, if we keep that pressure on, they're going to have no choice but to acquiesce.
Yeah. And we will see better products and we'll see better health. This is how we're going to change the health landscape in our country
Mhm.
is by better products, better choices, and more awareness and people just shopping more wisely. I have a chapter in The Truth About Seed Oils on wise shopping with lots and lots of tips for you on how to make better choices each day. So I always say clean out your pantry. If you want to use it up, go for it. Lots of people go, I've had it with this, out it goes, and I'm going for a better product.
Yeah.
But let's make the choices and get our kitchens cleaned up and then shop wisely. Learn how to read those labels and get an app that helps you out, and we'll be on a much better path.
Yeah, you know what? I have to thank you for doing what you do every day on a daily basis, getting the word out there with your books, your seminars, your workshops, your speaking engagements. Because you know what? Like you said before, it's people like us that are doing this, and you got a great voice in this realm. And we have to just empower people and know that they can do it too. It just doesn't have to be us loudmouths. You know, it can be them too. They can get out there and do it. And again, like I said, it's extremely empowering, and we need to just keep pushing that forward. Is there anything else that they can think to leave to resonate with the audience, or a course of action other than what we just said for them to adopt?
Well, get good recipes. That's an action that we can take every day. And I've got over 50 recipes in my book, but there are tons of recipes out there. Get great recipes, things you enjoy that incorporate good fats. And keep in mind, lots of people still are afraid of fat. Like, oh, I shouldn't be eating this or just a little bit or whatever. And about 30% of our diet should be good fats, good, healthy fats. Why is that? It brings satiety, a feeling of fullness, satisfaction, and we've been lacking that for decades. We came through the no fat, low fat decade, 80s, early 90s, well, late 70s,
Mhm.
and we got rid of all the fat that we could. You know, everybody's making their muffins with applesauce and not even a drop of oil in there. We got rid of the egg yolks and ended up with egg white injury. They call it where the egg white without the yolk. It was finding the biotin. What a mess. And so, you know, we've been through these eras of this low fat, no fat craziness, no cholesterol, and we're far worse for it. We're far heavier as a society, and people are hungrier. And so we need the fat, and we need good recipes with good fat. And then we're going to conquer that issue of always being so hungry and getting into the kitchen an hour or two after dinner and saying, I still want something else. I'm still hungry. What is it? I
Yeah,
need something more.
yeah.
We need fat oftentimes.
Well, there's been so many studies done where they've taken children and had them eat a big thing of pancakes or bagels or something, and other ones eating some eggs and bacon. And the ones who ate the carbs were hungry within an hour or so, and the other ones were satiated much longer.
Oh, it is so true. And I think most days of my life, I'm also known as the juice lady. I have juice, and then I have a smoothie made with avocado and vegetable juices. So my smoothies are very different. They're
Wow.
not sweet.
Yeah.
And I put some chopped up nuts on top, like often walnuts for omega-3. I'll
Mhm.
tell you that lasts.
Yeah.
I am full. I don't need anything else
Mhm.
until maybe at lunchtime. And I often do a salad or um, some protein, or maybe I'll have an egg, but I'm full. I'm satisfied. Good
That's
fats from the avocado and the walnuts, and then all of the nutrients from the vegetable juices all blended up and delicious. And it's a truth in my life. I've seen it play out over and over again, and I know other people will if you give it a try.
yeah.
But you're right. All of those carbs, cereal, bagels, toast, and people are still hungry.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for coming on. And the book, The Truth About Seed Oils, is available on Amazon, I'm assuming, and everywhere
It
else.
is.
All right,
It's on
awesome.
Amazon, and you can visit me also at thetruthaboutseedoils.com and get some free gifts. Check it out.
Awesome.
Truthaboutseedoils.com.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Cherie. And thank you, audience, for listening. Strength and honor.